close to the same as the tire pressure gauge, which is showing 21 psi. The hottest part of the case on the Stanley is 115 degrees Fahrenheit. After 10 minutes of use, the Stanley is at 12.82 volts, which is pretty close to fully charged. At a price of $134, the second least expensive brand we'll be testing is made by Potec. The Potec also has a sealed lead-acid battery, 1500 peak amps, 150 psi air compressor, and 300 watt power inverter. The unit comes with a charge adapter that's stored in the side compartment. You can charge this unit using a 120 volt outlet or your vehicle's 12 volt accessory. The Potec has a USB port, a 12 volt socket, and two 120 volt outlets. The air pressure hose is stored in the side compartment. This unit has a manual gauge and you'll have to watch the pressure until it reaches the desired pressure. The Potec is made in China. The battery is fully charged. Just like the Stanley, the Potec also weighs 17 pounds. And the Potec isn't quite as loud as the Stanley at 81 decibels. The analog gauge in the Potec is pretty small and the numbers are very close together, making it a challenge to inflate the tire pressure to exactly 35 psi. At 15 minutes, the tire pressure appears to be right at 35 psi. It looks like the Potec pressure gauge is off by about 2 psi. The Potec has plenty of charge left at 12.8 volts, and the hottest part of the case is about 107 degrees Fahrenheit. At a price of $140 is this Cosway brand, 1500 peak amps. You can charge a unit using your car's 12 volt accessory or 120 volt power source. Instructions for using the jump starter are printed right on the side of the unit. Jump starter on-off switch. The Cosway has two USB ports, two 12 volt sockets, and a 120 volt outlet. To power up the LED light, you simply hold down the power button for 3 seconds. The Cosway brand is made in China. The Cosway is the heaviest yet at 20 pounds, and the Cosway is the loudest yet at 86 decibels. And the Cosway needs 19 minutes or 4 minutes longer than the Potec to inflate the tire. However, the pressure gauge on the Cosway is pretty accurate. The extra run time needed to inflate the tire did drain the battery a little bit more than the Potec, 12.68 volts, which is still near a full charge. The hottest part of the Potec is nearly 190 degrees Fahrenheit. Also at a price of $140, the same price as the Cosway is this Schumacher brand. 1200 amp jump starter, 200 watt power inverter, 150 psi air compressor, built-in LED light. The Schumacher has a USB port, two 12 volt sockets, and two 120 volt outlets. You can use an extension cord and a 120 volt outlet to charge the Schumacher. The Schumacher includes both an air compressor as well as an inflator. The Schumacher is assembled in Mexico. The Schumacher weighs 17 pounds. And the Schumacher makes about the same amount of noise as a Stanley at 85 decibels. And the Schumacher seems to be the fastest yet, inflating the tire to 35 psi in only 12 minutes.
Ridiculous.
Unfortunately, the Schumacher's gauge is off by about 7 psi, so let's keep on inflating the tire until we reach 35 psi.
What the hell, Alter? What the fuck?
Minutes to reach 35